The United States is carrying a national debt of around $40 trillion. It's one of the biggest numbers in human history, and it raises a simple but important question. Who exactly does the U.S. owe all this money to? Let's break it down in a clear and simple way. First, the U.S. national debt is made up of two parts: public debt and intragovernmental debt. Public debt is money the government owes to people and institutions outside the federal government. Intragovernmental debt is money the government owes to different government programs, basically one pocket of the government borrowing from another. So let's start with the biggest piece, public debt, which makes up roughly 3/4 of the total. 1. American investors and institutions. The largest chunk of U.S. debt is owed to Americans themselves. This includes banks, mutual funds, pension funds, insurance companies, and even everyday citizens who buy treasury bonds. When you hear someone say the U.S. is borrowing from the American people, this is what they mean. These investors lend money to the government because U.S. Treasury bonds are considered one of the safest investments in the world. 2. The Federal Reserve. Believe it or not, the Federal Reserve is also a major holder of U.S. debt. When the Fed wants to stimulate the economy, it buys Treasury bonds. This increases the money supply and helps stabilize financial markets. Technically, the government owes this money to itself, but it still counts as part of the official debt. 3. Foreign countries. Next, we have foreign governments and international investors. Countries like Japan, China, the UK, and several European nations own large amounts of treasury bonds. Foreign countries buy U.S. debt because they trust the stability of the American economy and want a safe place to store their money. Despite the fear-driven headlines, foreign countries own less than 20% of the total debt. 5. Government trust funds. Now let's look at intragovernmental debt. This is money owed to programs like Social Security, Medicare, and federal retirement funds. These programs collect more money than they immediately need, and the extra is invested in treasury bonds. So the government is essentially borrowing from future retirees. Why does the U.S. borrow so much? The government borrows when its spending exceeds its revenue. Wars, economic crises, tax cuts, healthcare costs, and rising interest payments all contribute to the growing debt. Is 40 trillion dangerous? It's a huge number, but the U.S. has one big advantage. It controls the world's most trusted currency and has never defaulted. The real danger isn't the debt itself, but the growing interest costs, which can squeeze the federal budget. Final thoughts. So who does the U.S. owe its $40 trillion debt to? Mostly Americans, then the Federal Reserve, and lastly, foreign governments. The debt is massive, but understanding who holds it makes the picture much clearer.